The following is a production of WCMP Sports. It's time for high school basketball live from the Target Center here on WCMP. Tonight we'll see the Pine City Dragons getting set to take on the Maple Lake Irish. Tip-off is coming your way shortly from the Target Center, but now we send it to the court for the pregame. Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen, to tonight's basketball game here on WCMP 106.5 FM, AM 1350, WCMP. I'm Ethan Game Day Gilman. I'll be bringing you all the action from tonight's game here at the Target Center, the home of the Timberwolves. And this should be a good one here tonight between the Pine City Dragons and the Maple Lake Irish. These two teams come into this one having very different seasons. And the Pine City Dragons, they sit at 500. And the Pine City Dragons just got to 500 after their win yesterday over the Hinckley-Finlayson Jaguars. That was a fun one to be a part of. I was able to call that game, and that was a fun one between those two teams. Hinckley-Finlayson gave all they could handle to Pine City, but Pine City did come away with the victory there last night. Let's take a look at both these teams. Maple Lake has not won a game yet this season. They sit at 0-10 last in Section 6AA. They're 0-2 in the section as well. They score about 35 points per game while giving up 81 points per game. But again, in this section, it is kind of any given day that can really be when we see someone lose, and Pine City's going to hope they don't allow that to happen to them here tonight, of course. Last night, it was a fun one, but they came out on top. Looking at the Maple Lake Irish, of course, 0-10 on the season. Their scoring high on the season came against Benson when they scored 51 points in that 69-51 loss. But other than that, yeah, they've struggled to get that 50 mark only once during the season, and they have kind of struggled even to get to that 40-point mark as we look at it. 3 games in which they have reached that 40-point mark, so it has been a tough one. Of course, this is a tough section that they play in. They also play some very tough teams at Belgrade, Bruton, El Rosa, otherwise known as BBE, Eden Valley, Watkins. They also play Kimball, Howard Lake, Waverly, Winstead, Mora, and Dassel Cokato. So these are not easy teams that they are playing by any stretch of the imagination, and some tough competition. That can prove to be a good thing for you as you move towards the end of the season going into playoffs. So maybe that is why they tried to go with a bit of a tougher schedule here at the beginning of the season and try and get themselves a little bit more ready for the playoffs, because once you get to playoffs, man, every team is going to try and give you their best, and a lot of times they do, and sometimes, well, we see a lot of teams get overpowered in those games. As we take a look at Pine City, they are, as I mentioned, 6-6, 1-1 in the conference. They're scoring about 63 points per game, giving up about 57, and that really is kind of skewed too, because in their first 3 games, they struggled to reach that 50-point mark, and again, their new starting 5 this year, but after that, that's when really things started to turn around for them. They went up to the Cloquet Christmas tournament, which they beat Mesabi East and Cloquet to win that tournament. They scored their first 80-point game of the season up there. Then they came back, won at home against Rush City, a big win in the section and in the conference, 75-62. They lost 2 straight against Chisago Lakes and Foley. That Foley game was a good one. They held 2 10-point leads in that game, one in the second half and one in the first. So it was tough for them to lose that game, but I think it's going to, at the end of the season, they're going to know how to battle through those kind of adversities, because, again, holding on to a 10-point lead and giving that up and then losing that game at the end of it, that is a tough one. But now this team going forward knows what they need to look for, knows what they need to do better in order not to give up a 10-point lead going and moving forward. Then they came back and beat Ogilvie. Then they lost to Duluth Denfeld, but are currently on a 2-game win streak. On Monday, they beat Mille Lacs 76-29. That doesn't really show how dominant that game was for Pine City. And then Hinckley-Finlayson, they just beat, as I mentioned yesterday, 72-56. That game at halftime, as I take a look at the stats from yesterday, it was a 4-point game. They led 40-36, but it felt a lot closer than that at halftime. It felt like it was maybe even tied at that point. And both teams struggled with turnovers there in duration of the game, especially in the first half. Pine City got out to such a quick start, but things started to kind of snowball effect with the turnovers. Whether they couldn't hold on to it, they were getting blocks, they were getting fouls, or they were just the passes, they weren't taking them in cleanly. Whatever it was, they could not hold on to the ball, and that went for both teams too last night. They just couldn't seemingly hold on to the ball, so they struggled mightily in that game. to kind of hold on to anything, but now they did get the victory. Now they're here tonight at the Target Center, the home of the Timberwolves, to play against the Maple Lake Irish. We're going to take a quick commercial break to hear a word from our fine sponsors. When we come back, more pregame here on 106.5 FM, AM 1350, WCMP.
No appointment? No problem. Injuries and feeling ill don't always happen during normal business hours. That's why Wellia Health has urgency services open 7 days a week. Urgency Services in Pine City offers the care you need when you need it. Hours are now 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. 7 days a week. No need to call or make an appointment. Just stop in. When tomorrow isn't soon enough and normal business hours just won't do, you can count on Wellia Health to be there for you. Live life well at Wellia Health.
Choose the right divorce attorney. Spear and Swanson will make sure the judge knows your side of the story. Let them help you with your divorce, custody, child support, harassment, or orders for protection. They also handle DWIs and other legal matters. The right divorce attorney does make a difference. That's why you need to choose Spear and Swanson, attorneys at law in Pine City. Call 320-620-7586.
Since 1967, Schmidt Construction, general contractor in Hinckley, has been where to go for all your building projects. Let Gerald Schmidt help you with designing, remodeling, or any new construction. Schmidt Construction specializes in residential home building, agricultural, industrial, and commercial buildings. With expert advice on all of your building projects and ideas, when you hire a contractor to take care of your building needs, you can't do better than Schmidt Construction, general contractor in Hinckley. 320-384-7901.
Back here on 106.5 FM, AM 1350, your home for tonight's game between the Pine City Dragons and the Maple Lake Irish here at the Target Center, the home of the Timberwolves. I'm Ethan Game Day Gilman, bringing you the action from the Target Center live down here. We do have video as well, so I want to thank you all for tuning in, whether you're listening on the radio or you're tuning in on our YouTube via our website at WCMPradio.com. Thanks so much for tuning in. If you are on our YouTube here this evening, make sure to like and subscribe, because if you subscribe, you'll get notified anytime we go live with any local sporting event. So make sure to like, subscribe, so that you are notified when we go live with a local sporting event. Again, here down at the Target Center, Ethan Game Day Gilman. Keys to this game here for Pine City, I think one of the bigger things is foul trouble. I think you got to stay out of foul trouble and the offensive rebounds. I know I've talked about that before, but I think that's kind of a big thing here for the Dragons. As of late, they've started to get those offensive rebounds to fall, and it's been going really well these last couple of games. I think from the beginning of the season to now, it's been a huge improvement. But one of the things I think they're going to have to do to get the win here tonight is just improve on the offensive boards. I think that's one of the key things that they've tried to work on in these last couple of games, but I think tonight they're going to have to do that, and just to kind of know that they can do it, because yesterday they tried, but man, Hinckley Finlayson, I don't want to say outmatched them on the offensive rebounds, but they just did a better job of getting to the ball on the defensive side for Hinckley Finlayson, so Pine City couldn't get any offensive rebounds going, and that really is what held Hinckley Finlayson so close in that game, especially in the first half. Eventually, Pine City was able to start to pull away in that second half, because a big reason why Luke Wilson got going with those threes. He started to take over on offense, and we heard Kyle Allen, he talked about it. He said, he's just going to let him take over, and that's what Luke Wilson did there last night. Of course, one of the better ball handlers in the conference, maybe even in the section. He's very good, and he works at that. We heard Coach Allen talk about how much he works at it, and he has put in countless hours and years into that, and we see the benefits of that hard work paying off in his game. So again, those are the kind of the keys on offense for the Dragons. On defense, I think for the Dragons, I think one of the bigger things is getting more rebounds once again, but also just playing a clean game. We see a lot of times that when they fall behind a little bit, those fouls start to come, and hopefully that won't be the case here tonight as we get ready for this game to start. I want to thank all of you for tuning in here tonight. We're just about set to go. We got that buzzer. Looks like we'll get our national anthem and then our starting lineups, and then we'll be set to go here on 106.5 FM, AM 1350 WCMP. We'll also get a word from our fine sponsors. sponsors, we'll get our starting lineup and our national anthem, and then after that, we'll come back and we'll be set for tip-off here at the Target Center between the Dragons and the Irish. You're listening to Boys Basketball on WCMP.
Are you interested in a technical degree that can quickly help you land your dream career? Or maybe you've always dreamed of going to a 4-year college, but you'd like to start close to home. Either way, Pine Technical and Community College has you covered. PTCC offers more than 50 degrees in hot fields like healthcare information technology, advanced manufacturing, and business. PTCC is now accepting applications. Financial aid may be available online at pine.edu. Starting out or starting over, find your future at Pine Technical and Community College.
It's time to start pushing snow. Sorry, just the messenger. Thankfully, Minnesota Equipment in Isanti has affordable machines to do the heavy lifting. Any size property. Toro and Aaron's walk behind snow blowers. Oh, you got land, huh? How about John Deere lawn and garden tractors? Or a compact utility tractor? Minnesota Equipment has them in stock. Snow removal doesn't have to be backbreaking. Not if you get into Minnesota Equipment. Highway 65 in Isanti. Or visit minnesotaequipment.com.
Hey, I'm Chad Greenway. When I was playing, I loved chasing down running backs. But you shouldn't have to chase your bank around when you're buying a home. Franzen Bank and Trust Mortgage Consultants will be with you stride for stride, like a linebacker on a running back, from pre-approval to closing and beyond. Let Franzen Bank guide you through the mortgage process. Learn more at franzenbank.com/get there. Franzen Bank and Trust. Real people, real results. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
A&W Restaurant Pine City is still making fresh root beer, that signature item since 1919. It's still made fresh and on-site with real cane sugar and a blend of secret ingredients. It doesn't get any better than this. Their world-renowned A&W root beer is a classic treat, and they can top it off with creamy vanilla soft serve to be known as the famous A&W root beer float. Now that's smooth, tasty, and refreshing. An American iconic A&W root beer float. It never tasted so good. A&W Restaurant Pine City. Come grab your root beer float today.
Most Americans do not have a proper will or estate plan in place. Many of you listening have been putting off that important task for a long time. Stop waiting and contact Spear & Swanson today. Spear & Swanson can help you put together a tight legal estate plan to make sure the assets you've been working so hard to obtain get passed on to your loved ones in the way that best fits you. Spear & Swanson, attorneys at law in Pine City. Call 320-629-7586. That's 320-629-7586.
The mushroom melt is back at A&W. How does this sound? Sautéed seasoned mushrooms and onions with melted Swiss cheese on your choice of a juicy burger or grilled chicken. Then add golden French fries and a medium soft drink. It's the mushroom melt and fries combo at A&W. Now, top it off with a classic A&W root beer float featuring vanilla soft serve and made fresh root beer, all in a frosty mug. Or how about the A&W Root Beer Freeze? Signature combos and delicious treats always at your local A&W restaurant in Pine City.
And now for your starting lineups here on WCMP for the Maple Lake Irish, head coach by Brian Schleif. And they are wearing their white away uniforms with the green numbers and letters, the white stripe down the side outlined in black. Starting for them will be number 2, Leighton Johnston. Number 4, Marcus Weimer. Number 10, Carter Scanlon. Number 14, Nick Lind. And number 21, Jacob Weezy. On the other side for the Pine City Dragons, wearing their away green with their white numbers and letters outlined in black. It'll be Kyle Allen, their head coach. And their starting lineups will be number 14, Isaiah Haas. Number 23, Luke Wilson. Number 24, Lamont Sidney. Number 31, Mason Charles. And number 32, Riley Cummings. 18 minutes are up on that Embrace Orthodontics scoreboard. Embrace Orthodontics custom braces or Invisalign with 3 locations in Pine City, Lindstrom, and Cambridge. Find out more at embracemn.com. Thanks so much for tuning in here tonight. This boys basketball game down at the Target Center. So blessed to be a part of this, and I want to give a shout out to my camera lady over there, Allison Unverzat. Thank you so much to her for being able to run the camera. It makes my job a lot easier and probably makes the production a little bit better looking as well. So thank you so much to her for being able to run the camera here tonight down at the Target Center, where the Pine City Dragons are taking on the Maple Lake Irish. Lamont Sidney going to be starting at center court for the Dragons. He'll look for the tip-off with Carter Scanlon there as well. They're just about set to get underway at the Target Center. 0-10 Irish, 6-6 Dragons. Fans are rowdy and ready. And there's the whistle, and the ball is up and tipped and won by the Dragons. It'll be Luke Wilson who takes it on the near side, trying to drive inside, gives it out to Isaiah Haas, now over to Lamont Sidney. Sidney on the near side, going to drive inside, jumps, gives it over to Luke Wilson, just short of an NBA three. It's good! Luke Wilson for three. And it's an early 3-0 lead, and then a steal by Mason Charles, up and no good by Lamont Sidney. But Charles with the steal, and Sidney gets fouled, so he'll go to the line and shoot two. And Lind is going to grab his first foul. Team's first as well. Lamont Sidney at the line to shoot two. And this just went dead quiet. I don't think Sidney was ready for it to be that quiet. That caught me off guard, my goodness. Lamont Sidney misses the first. But the second one gets the kind roll in to make it 4-0 Pine City. Maple Lake will look to inbound. It's Johnston, and this one going to be knocked away, stolen away by Lamont Sidney. And the three from Mason Charles gets the kind roll for three to make it 7-0. Maple Lake struggling to get it up the court, but they do with Weimer. And Weimer on that far side, trying to get out of a double team. He gives it off to Lind, now to Johnston. Johnston top of the key, back over to Lind. Lind wanted to go inside. He said he'll work on the far side. Gives it off now to Weimer. Weimer going to get called for the travel, and the ball will go back to the Dragons. So an early turnover there by the Irish has given the Dragons a 7-0 lead and the ball back. And Luke Wilson will take it up the court off the inbound pass from Charles. Wilson on the near side, dribbles, gives it off on the far side to Haas. He wanted to go in the far side corner to Charles. Instead, he'll give it to Luke Wilson. Wilson on that far side elbow now, trying to get around two defenders. Gives it off to Charles. Charles, top of the key, gives it off to Wilson. Wilson now, near side elbow. He works, elbow again for three. That's off the mark. Rebounded here by Mason Charles. Charles for the rebound. Three is no good from Sidney, and that's going to be rebounded here by Weimer. Weimer's going to take it up the court on the far side. Weimer trying to go through a double team. He'll pass it off now to Scanlon. Scanlon tries to drive inside. His shot is up and no good. And coming down with the rebound that time is Riley Cummings, and I believe he got fouled. 10, that's going to be Scanlon. Team's second there for the Irish. 16-28 on that Embrace Orthodontic scoreboard. Left to go in the first half. Dragons with that 7-0 lead. Luke Wilson up the court. He'll give it off to Charles. Now to Haas. Haas on the far side elbow for three. That's good. Isaiah Haas makes it 10-0 here in this one. And Scanlon, he'll give it off to that's Weimer. Weimer up on the far side of the court. He stops, and he'll give it inside, this time to Lind. Lind's going to work through a double team, tries to pull up. Now he's got to look for someone to go out to it. And instead, it's stolen away here by Luke Wilson. Wilson quickly up the court to Lamont Sidney, up and in for two. I think Lamont wanted to try for the dunk. Smartly just goes for the layup. And now this pass is just on the fingertips of Weezy. He'll bring it down, give it back to Johnston. Johnston, that ball is tipped, but he gets it up to Lind. Lind works on the far side, gives it off to Weimer. Weimer drifts to the top of the key. Stands, going to drive inside on Cummings. Gives it back out here to Lind. Lind's going to drive inside, takes it from the free throw line. Shot is up, no good. Rebound there by Scanlon. And he tries to go underneath that time to Weezy. And it is going to be out of bounds. Last touched by the Dragons, so it will stay with the Irish. And a new member in here for the Irish is number 15, Ethan Pauman. Inbound here, and Pauman struggling to get it back. He knocks it back forward, and it will go out of bounds. Ooh, they're going to say last touch by the Dragons. I don't know about that. Either way, it will be Weezy who will inbound for the Irish, and he will inbound here to Weimer. Weimer gives it off on the far side here to Johnston. Johnston for NBA three. That's no good. Falls right into the hands of Sidney for the easy rebound. Quickly up to Luke Wilson. Wilson trying to push the pace. He's going to drive inside. Nice move. Little floater up there is no good. Riley Cummings comes down with the rebound. Gives it back to Wilson. Now on the near side to Charles. All the way across the court to Isaiah Haas on the far side corner for three. It's good. Isaiah Haas, his second three to make it 15-0. In favor of Pine City with just under 15 to go, and now stolen away by Riley Cummings. Sidney inside. His shot is up, no good, but a foul there on the Irish, and Sidney will go back to line to shoot two. That's on Johnston, the team's third. 15-0 on that Embrace Orthodontic scoreboard. Dr. Sievers is committed to providing world-class orthodontic care in a friendly and comfortable atmosphere. Start today at EmbraceMN.com. The first one from Sidney is good to make it 16-0. 14:49 to go in the first half. Second one is good as well. Lamont Sidney makes them both, and he's pretty clutch from the free throw line. Usually is pretty good, 90 to 80% from that free throw line. The ball nearly stolen away again. It will be stolen away this time by Mason Charles. Charles gives it off to Wilson. Wilson on the near side elbow. He's looking to drive inside. Gives it off far side to Haas. Haas bounce pass here to Riley Cummings. It's no good. Rebounded there by Weezy. Weezy will take it up the court, gives it off on the far side to Weimer. Weimer trying to get around Wilson. He's pretty quick, though, and that ball's going to go out of bounds. Last touch by a Dragon. It will stay with the Irish. Dragons being aggressive here early on defense, trying to create as many turnovers as they can. And the inbound here is tipped, but Paulman brings it back in for the Irish. Paulman on that far side, standing on the Target Center logo, gives it off top key to Johnston. Johnston now over to Weimer. Weimer back to Weezy. Weezy trying to drive inside on Wilson. He loses the ball, and it will go to the Dragons, as that was last touch out of bounds by Weezy. He lost it there on that one. Nick Lind will check into the game. And Carter Scanlon will get a rest. 14:14 to go. Sidney will inbound here to Wilson. Wilson will give it off far side to Charles. Now to near side corner for Sidney. Back off on the far side for Mason Charles for three, and it's good to make it 20-0. Under 14 minutes to go. Here come the Irish. It's Johnston up the court. He stops right at the Timberwolves logo. He'll give it off to Weimer. Weimer now over to Lind. Lind wants to go for three. It's off the mark, but a travel is called before the shot. And the ball will go back to the Dragons. 13:46 to go. 20-0 lead on that Embrace Orthodontic scoreboard. It's Wilson who will take it up the court now. Gives it off far side to Haas. It's back to Wilson. Wilson thought about the NBA three. He'll give it back to Haas on the far side, inside to Cummings. NBA three from Wilson. Just off the mark, but Sidney right there for the rebound to put it back up and in for two. 22-0 is the lead. And Maple Lake is going to call a much-needed timeout. They'll have 4 left in the game. The Dragons out to a astonishing 22-0 lead here in this first half with 13:27 to go. Dragons lead 22-0 here at the Target Center where the Timberwolves play. And the Dragons are out quickly to a 22-0 lead. 4.5 minutes have come off of that first half clock here. And the Dragons, they control the pace, and leading the way for them is Lamont Sidney with 7 points. Charles and Haas both have 6. Wilson with 3, and a lot of times that's kind of what we see is Wilson may not have the stats early on, but sooner than later he comes alive and he starts to get those shots to fall. But again, this Dragon team does a great job of playing so unselfish that they don't care who is getting the baskets as long as they're getting the baskets, and a lot of times that great teammate play will benefit everyone out on the court. As we see here, almost everyone has scored except for Cummings, and Cummings, he doesn't get a lot of points on the board, but he gets the rebounds, and that is why they need him so badly on the court, is for those rebounds. But he does get the occasional putback off of a rebound on offense. So the Irish will inbound here to Lind. Lind is stuck. He gives it off to Johnston. Johnston go back top of the key here to Lind. Lind works inside. He has it poked and stolen away. Mason Charles will get the steal as he brings it in. Riley Cummings, an awkward shot is no good. Mason Charles will get the rebound. Far side for Lamont Sidney. That's off the front of the rim. Charles with the rebound again, and his shot is up and no good. And we do get a foul. This time it will be on Weezy, his first, team's 4th. No fouls here for Pine City, and that's awesome to see for Pine City as Charles is at the line to shoot 2. First one up and short from Charles. That'll keep it 22-0. 13:04 to go, the first half. And Charles' second one is through. And that's kind of the great thing with this Pine City team. You will rarely see them go 0 for 2 at the line. A lot of times they will be 1 for 2 or 2 for 2, and when they miss one either, well, quickly, Charles with a steal. Up, no good on the shot. Getting the rebound, though, is Luke Wilson, and he tries to put it back. He's no good. Cummings gets the rebound. We're going to foul here on Maple Lake Irish. So to finish up my thought, a lot of times that's going to be on Lind, the second team's 5th. Checking in for the first time here tonight for the Irish is number 25. That's going to be Brandon Lundeen. Near side corner, top of the key now, pass to Mason Charles. Far side to Sydney. Now on the near side for Wilson. Near side corner for Haas. That's no good, a rare miss from Haas. Rebounded, though, by Wilson, and he's going to give it off to Cummings, who puts it up and in for 2 to make it 25-0. As I try to finish my thought from before, yeah, this Pine City team, if they miss, they do a great job of correcting themselves and getting it to go through on the second one. That shot is up and no good from the Irish. Isaiah Haas gets the rebound. That shot took by Lundeen. Isaiah Haas for 3. That looks clean, but it's short. And the rebound there by Weimer. He'll take it up the court, guarded by Wilson, bumping bodies. And now he gives it off here to Weezy. His shot is up. It's off the top of the backboard. That's out of bounds. It will go back to the Dragons. 25-0, 12:05 to go here in the first half. Dragons with a large lead. Charlie Osmus, Ashton Seals, and Nick Plajek into the game for the Dragons. And taking it up the court here for the Dragons is Charlie Osmus. And he'll give it across the court to Ashton Seals. Seals back to Osmus. Osmus on the near side, driving. Top of the key, goes inside to Sydney. Sydney trying to get up for a shot, and they're going to allow him to play physical there. Probably should have been a foul, but it's no good. And the rebound there by Scanlon. Scanlon guarded by Charles, and he's going to try and get it up the court. He finally does. And now that first foul on Pine City is going to go against Mason Charles. His first, team's first, and the Dragons still lead 25-0 with 11:39 to go in this first half. This inbound gets to Lundeen. Lundeen goes all the way across court here to Weezy. Weezy on the far side there for Powman, and Powman no good, and the rebound there by Lamont Sidney. Sidney will take it up the court quickly. Oh, and I think he got tripped, and probably should have been a call. There wasn't. It's stolen away by the Irish. That shot is up and no good. It was stolen away by Johnston. The rebound still up for grabs. We're going to get, that's got to be a jump ball. Yep, jump ball, and the possession arrow favors the Irish, so it will stay with Maple Lake on the far side of the court. Here in the first half, the Dragons going left to right on your radio dial. Maple Lake going right to left. Again, Dragons going left to right, and inbound here to Scanlon. Scanlon will give it off here to Johnston. Johnston goes inside, back outside. That was probably not the correct move. Scanlon shot no good, rebounded by Sidney. Yeah, Weezy had the open shot there if you wanted it, but he didn't take it. Plajek will give it off now to Osmus. Osmus will circle the perimeter, give it off to Ashton Seals on the far side. Seals will drive inside, found a lane, and instead he'll give it off to Nick Plajek. That shot was blocked from behind. It's going to be rebounded there by Scanlon, and Scanlon will take it up the court now for Maple Lake. Maple Lake, he gives it off to Weezy. Weezy on the far side, going back inside to Scanlon. Scanlon's shot is up, no good. And I think we're going to get a foul here on the Dragons. We will. That first foul, or second foul, I should say, is going to go against Lamont Sidney. His first, team's at second. 10:48 to go, and at the line to shoot 2 is Scanlon. 25-0 is the score. We will get a couple of substitutions here. Lind, Weimer, and number 33 will check in. That's Stephen Borgers. Shot is up. And good. So Scanlon will make 1 of 2 at the free throw line to make it 25-1. On the other way, the Dragons have it. Osmus gets the pass back from Charles on the near side. He gets a screen from Plajek. Works to top of the key, gives it off to Plajek on the far side for Ashton Seals. 3 is good. Ashton Seals for 3 to make it 28-1. With it now for the Irish is Lind. Lind's going to give it off to Scanlon. Scanlon, a long three, even behind the MEA three line. It's no good. Rebounded here by Charles. Charles quickly up the court. One-on-one. Nice Euro step. He puts it up and in for two. Mason Charles, a beautiful step there to get around two defenders, and he got it to drop. 30-1 is the score with 10 minutes and counting. Lind up on the front court now, gives it off to Johnston. Johnston, he'll go all the way across court. This is stolen away by Sidney. Just put his long arms out there, and he got the steal. Sidney, he's going to go work up to the basket. His shot is no good, and Seals did bring in the rebound, and then we got a foul call. So Lamont Sidney will go to the line to shoot two. Nick Lind with his third foul and the team's sixth. So Nick Lind probably going to have to come to the bench here for a little while. Sidney's shot is up and good. Wheezy will check in for Nick Lind, who has to check out with 3 fouls. That's unfortunate there for Maple Lake. 31-1, 9:48 to go here in the first half, as Sidney makes them both. Lamont Sidney makes them both, and it's 32-1 in favor of the Dragons. Here come the Irish. It's Weimer who gives it off to Scanlon. It's nearly stolen away, poked out by Mason Charles, but it goes out of bounds, and it will stay with the Irish. Scanlon will look to inbound. Everyone's guarded well, but he gets it in here to Wheezy. Wheezy to Weimer. Weimer stands at the Timberwolves logo. He gets a screen, and now he's double-teamed. He nearly lost the ball, and he gets it off to Wheezy. That ball is knocked out of the air by Mason Charles. Great job by Charles there. Wheezy looked for a pass, and Charles stuck his hand in the passing lane and knocked it out of bounds. It will stay with the Irish, though. 9:31 to go. 32-1 is the lead for Pine City. Inbounded here to Scanlon. Scanlon gives it off to Wheezy. Wheezy looks for the lob shot. It's up and no good. Knocked away. Rebound here by Ashton Seals. Seals will take it up the court now for the Dragons. Working into the middle, and his shot is up and travel. Yeah, unfortunately he took one too many. I was going to say it looked a little awkward, but that was close. Wilson and Cummings will check into the game for Charles and Sidney. 9:18 to go here in the first half. 32-1 is the Pine City Dragon lead. This inbound here is to Johnston. Johnston to Weimer. Weimer on the far side. Drives inside. Now gives it back to Wheezy. Wheezy trying to find a lane to the basket. Instead gives off to Weimer. Weimer fakes the three, and he wanted to go back to Wheezy. He does, and now Wheezy can't control it, but he gets it back. Gives it off now to Johnston. Johnston gives it off to Wheezy on the near side. Wheezy trying to drive inside. He'll put up a floater. That shot is no good. And the rebound there by Luke Wilson. Wilson will take it up the court quickly, trying to work in between. Gives it off to Cummings, who brings it in with his fingertips. Shot is up and no good. And Wheezy going to grab the rebound there. A rare miss from the Dragons and Riley Cummings. But it's the other way now for the Irish. Weimer trying to drive inside. And they're going to get a foul call there on the Dragons. That'll be their team's third. That's Luke Wilson with his first. Brandon Lundeen will check into the game for Borgert. Johnston will look to inbound here to Weimer. And Weimer will take it into the front court. Looks for a screen from Wheezy, and now he's double-teamed by both Cummings and Wilson. And he gets off to Scanlon in that far side corner, and he traveled as he was trying to get through a double team, and the ball will go back to Pine City. 8:23 to go here in the first half. Dragons lead on that Embrace Orthodontics scoreboard, 32-1. Luke Wilson will take it off the inbound. Just jogs it up the court here to the near side. Lob pass over to Ashton. Seals wide open for three. That's going to come up well short. And taken in by Lundeen. Lundeen will give it off now to Scanlon. Scanlon on the far side, trying to get around Osmus. Driving inside, puts up a shot. Oh, and the roll does not work. And it's going to be Seals with the rebound. Quickly up the court, but a little too far out in front of Luke Wilson. And he smiles it off. Taps Seals, says, hey, that's all right. And that ball looks like it goes all the way back down the tunnel. They're going to make the player go get it. Wow, did that thing roll into a black hole? My goodness. It must have, because it's in a different dimension now. Well, we'll get a new ball in. Weimer went for it, and He might have even found it somewhere back there. I mean, that rolled into infinity. I don't know. It might still be rolling for all we know. Wow. That thing is lost. I think it's just a lost cause at this point. My goodness. Well, look at the ball inbounded here to Weimer. One of the coaches still going to go look for that ball. My goodness. Who knew those tunnels were so long? I sure didn't. Weimer now will give it off to Johnson here on the near side. He'll give it back to Wheezy. Wheezy inside, trying to find a lane to dribble through it, and he wanted to go to Lundeen. Lundeen went one way. The pass went behind him. So the ball will go back to Pine City with 7:40 to go here in the first half, and the Dragons leading 32-1. Looks like they finally got the ball that rolled into the black hole. They get it back. Luke Wilson has it now for the Dragons in the front court. Gives it to Seals. Seals on the far side, going to dribble top of the key. He wanted a step back three. Gives it off to Wilson here on the near side. Wilson trying to drive inside now, and he'll give it across to Ashton Seals. Wide open for three. Good! Ashton Seals for three to make it 35-1. Ashton Seals has had plenty of open looks here tonight, and he's made two of probably about four, I'd say. Wheezy gets the pass here from Johnston, and now to Lundeen for three. His shot is no good. I think that's Carter Scanlon who got the rebound there. And the ball will go out of bounds. Who was it touched by? I think it was touched last by a Dragon. It was, so it will stay with the Irish with 7:04 to go. Johnston will inbound here to Wheezy. He goes to Weimer, top of the key for three. No good. Nick Plajek will grab the rebound here for the Dragons. Quickly up the court to Luke Wilson. Wilson, NBA three, comes up short. Charlie Osmus tries to keep it alive, but that will go out of bounds and go back to the Irish. And something that head coach Kyle Allen did say, he said, we're going to try to shoot more of the high school threes than the NBA threes. I'm sure he won't be too upset with Luke Wilson taking that wide open of a shot because, there was no one around him for about 3 blocks. The pass here from Johnston to Weimer will go out of bounds, and checking in for the Irish is Paulman. Paulman will check in for Johnston, and the Dragons in the backcourt will get it. Osmus will inbound here to Wilson. Wilson top of the key, gives it off far side to Osmus. Osmus goes inside to Cummings. Cummings back outside to Ashton Seals. He dribbles, gives it off top of the key, back to Wilson. That's just off the mark. Ashton Seals bring down a rebound to Cummings for two. Make it 37-1, and up the court, Weimer. He gives it off to Paulman. Paulman drives inside underneath the basket. That shot is up no good. Rebounded here by Seals. Seals will take it up the court now for the Dragons. Nice stutter step. Gives it off to Wilson. Near side corner for three, and that's good as well. 40-1 is the score. Under 6 minutes to go now in this first half. Weimer on the far side. He has it stolen and poked out by Riley Cummings. He'll give it off to Luke Wilson. Behind the back pass to Riley Cummings for two. Getting fancy with it are the Dragons, and it's 42-1. Luke Wilson showing some extra pizzazz here tonight. Behind the back pass to Cummings for two. And it will be a timeout called there by the Maple Lake Irish. They'll be left with three here the rest of the way. 42-1 is the Dragons' lead over the Maple Lake Irish. Leading the way is still Lamont Sidney with 9 points, but also tying him is Mason Charles with 9. 6 for Riley Cummings, Ashton Seals, Luke Wilson, and Isaiah Haas. Rebound-wise, Ashton Seals leads them right now. Steals, it's Riley Cummings Mason Charles with 4 of them. And they only have 3 team fouls. Maple Lakes kind of started off on the wrong foot with those team fouls, but they have since settled it down and only have 6 team fouls here. To begin this first half, it looked like it was going to be early foul trouble, but they've done a good job to clean up the fouls, and Weimer kind of leaned into that one there to draw the foul. I don't know about that one. Wilson's going to draw his second, team's fourth. 42-1 is the score. 5:39 to go here in the first half. Inbound is to Weimer. It'll be inbounded in the backcourt, and now he'll take it to the front court. Standing on the Timberwolves logo, he's going to drive, trying to drive inside, gives it back out here to Lundeen, and Lundeen, before he passed it off, traveled. Oh, that one might have been a little bit quick on the whistle for the travel. checking in for the first time tonight is A.J. Austinson. Austinson will take it on the near side. He'll give it across the court to Luke Wilson in the far side corner for Isaiah Haas. That's just long. Ashton Seals gets the rebound, and he'll give it back out to A.J. Austinson. Now to Wilson. Wilson trying to drive inside, and now the shot from long, no good. Haas trying to race after it, and keeps it in bounds, and then last touch by Weimer. So Haas did a good job to throw it back in, and then Weimer touched it last as it went out of bounds. So the Dragons will hold on to possession. 5:03 to go here in the first half. Haas gets the inbound from Wilson. Wilson will get it back from Haas. Wilson drives inside the paint, backs it out. Top of the key for three. That's just off the front of the rim. And Haas with the rebound. Top of the key again for Wilson. Wilson probably have to think twice about taking that long three right now. He's just a little bit out of rhythm. He gives it off to Austinson inside, back out on the far side for Haas. That's off the mark, and Ashton Seals again with the rebound. His shot is up and no good, but he was fouled. He'll go to line to shoot two. Jacob Weezy with his second foul. The team's 7th. 4:38 to go, and Seals at the line to shoot two. 42-1 is the Dragon lead, and Seals cannot extend it on that one. Johnston and Borgert check back in for Lundeen and Weezy. Seals will correct it, and he'll make one of two. 43-1. Weimer will get the inbound here from Scanlon, and Weimer will take it up on the far side of the court. Weimer looking for a screen, gets it, but then is blocked or guarded nicely by Seals, and it's stolen away here by Luke Wilson. He takes it to the basket and puts it up and in for two to make it 45-1. Weimer's been trying to draw that foul by getting into the body hard, but that time it worked against him as it was poked out and stolen away by the Dragons. Scanlon with it on the far side. Walks it up the court. Trying to drive now. He'll give it off to Palman. Palman guarded well in that far side corner, stolen away by Isaiah Haas, gives it up to Luke Wilson. Wilson, left-handed layup, no good, but he was fouled, and he's going to go to the line and shoot two. So the 8th team foul there on the Maple Lake Irish. That's going to go against Weimer. His first, team's 8th. 45-1 as Wilson at the line to shoot two. First one is good. Make it 46-1. Weezy will check in for Weimer. Weimer gets a much-needed rest. He's been out there pretty much the entirety of this first half. Wilson makes one of two. He misses that second one. And that one is rebounded there by Borgert. Johnston gives it off here to Palman. Palman goes inside. Can't see the number. It's Weezy. Weezy. Fadeaway two is good. Weezy for two. Makes it 46-3. Back the other way come the Dragons quickly. Austinson gives it off to... Oh, no way. Oh, they're going to get it on Seals. So I thought they were going to get that on Austinson. I was going to say, there's no way Austinson committed that foul, but it was on Seals instead. It'll be his first and the team's 5th. So it was Seals. He must have been in an illegal screen or got around a little too physically. Weezy will give it off to Johnston. Johnston back to Weezy. Now out to Scanlon for three. That's no good. And that was rebound here by the Irish. And that shot is no good. Rebounded here by Seals once again. Seals, he's going to take it to the basket himself. Oh, they're going to say that wasn't a foul. It was blocked. Taken away by Johnston. Johnston to Weezy on the far side. Back to Johnston. Johnston looks for a screen. He'll pull up from NBA. Three that's going to come up short. And Riley Cummings comes down with the rebound. He'll give it off to Austinson here. He switches directions, goes into the middle, and gives it off to Haas. Haas on the far side gives it to Wilson. Wilson, a three. That's going to fall short. And it got into the hands of Scanlon, but then he couldn't hold on to it cleanly, and it rolls out of bounds. It will stay with the Dragons. So Dragons catch a huge break. Sidney, Plojic, and Charles will check in for Wilson, Seals, and Cummings. 46-3 with 2:52 to go on that Embrace Orthodontics scoreboard. Austinson will inbound to Isaiah Haas, near side for three. That's just off the mark. Nick Plojic will swat it back to Austinson for the rebound, and he puts it up and in for two. 48-3. 2:42 to go on that Embrace Orthodontics scoreboard. Your customized smile journey starts with a free consultation. The team at Embrace Orthodontics wants to make your journey as seamless and convenient as possible with custom braces or Invisalign. Start today at embracemn.com. And that ball is stolen away here by the Dragons, and then Haas takes it to the basket. He was pushing the back, so that's going to be a foul. He'll go to the line to shoot 2. That's 9 team fouls now for the Irish and 2 for Johnston. Haas at the line to shoot 2. First one is up and good. Makes it 49-3. And cannot make them both, so Haas makes 1 of 2. Nick Plajek initially got the rebound, and he gives it back in, and Lamont Sidney going to bring it in and gives it to Haas. Now to Austinson. Austinson's going to drive inside. Nice pass to Nick Plajek underneath the basket for 2. 51-3. All Pine City in this first half. Wheezy near side trying to drive up, and that's going to be a foul there on Lamont Sidney. That'll be his second, team's 6th. And that's tough because Sidney nearly had the steal, but got a little too much of the hand and not enough of the ball. Checking in for the Irish is Lundeen for Borgert, and Weimer will check in here for Palman. Weezy will inbound. Looking, goes to the backcourt to Johnston. Johnston goes all the way across court far side to Scanlon. Scanlon, bounce pass to Wheezy. Wheezy's going to pull up for 3. That's off the mark. And easy rebound there for Austinson. He'll take it up. Nearly lost his dribble, but he brings it in. Gives it off far side to Haas. Haas pauses, gives it back to, Austinson. Back across to Haas. Far side corner for for Lamont Sidney. His shot is up and no good. Leighton Johnston will bring it in for the rebound, and he'll give it off now to Scanlon. Scanlon trying to get around Haas, but he has to bring it back in, and he goes, drives inside, gives it up to Wheezy. Wheezy from the free throw line is no good. Lamont Sidney will get the rebound here for the Dragons, and he'll take it up the court now, getting through 1, and gives it off on the far side here to Haas. Now to Austinson, back to Haas. It was Plajek on that far side. Back to Austinson, now to Sidney for 3. That's good. Lamont Sidney for 3 to make it 54-3. With 1 minute to go here in this first half on that Embrace Orthodontics scoreboard, 54-3. Dragons with the lead. Weimer gets the pass from Johnston. Now to Wheezy. Back over to Weimer. Weimer, an NBA 3. That looks on the mark, but it is just no good. Rebounded here by Lamont Sidney. Sidney looking to take it inside, and, oh my goodness, tumbles. He's okay, and Johnston will get the foul. It's his 3rd, team's 10th. 45 seconds to go here in the first half. Lamont Sidney will shoot 2. Shot is up, no good. Dragons have not shot the greatest here in the first half from the free throw line, and I'm sure that'll be a point of emphasis going into the second half. Of course, you don't shoot well in this kind of game when you're leading this much. You kind of bleeds in to the games after this, so they want to correct it. 55-3 is the score after Lamont Sidney makes the second one, so he makes 1 of 2. Scanlon has it, trying to work on Haas. Haas, great defense, and Scanlon will look. He'll give it off to Weimer. Weimer takes it. Oh, the shot is no good. It hit the top of the backboard. It's no good, and a couple of rebounds that time for Lundeen. He got 2, but probably shouldn't have even got the 1 because that ball hit the top of the backboard and it should not have counted. Either way, the Dragons have it back and lead 55-5. They'll go inside to Plajek, outside to Mason Charles for 3. That rattles out, and Johnston will get the rebound here for Maple Lake. 10 seconds to go. They'll look for that last second shot. Scanlon, he'll take it up the court, give it off to Weimer. Weimer's going to drive inside. And he's going to travel. Ooh, tough one there for Weimer, and it will go back to the Dragons, and they'll get the opportunity for the last second shot. 4.9 seconds to go on that Embrace Orthodontics scoreboard. And if you're the Dragons, well, they're not. You're going to have to roll it, but they won't be able to. Austinson gets the pass. Austinson loses his dribble a little bit, and he'll pull up. Shot is no good. It was there, but it was no good. So the Dragons will go into halftime with a 55-5 lead over the Maple Lake Irish. We'll take a commercial break, and When we come back, we'll recap this first half. I'll give you my keys to the second half here for Pine City, and we'll talk about what I think they need to do here to get the victory. Pine City is up at halftime on that Embrace Orthodontics scoreboard. Embrace Orthodontics, they will do all the insurance heavy lifting for you. And if you don't have insurance, ask about financing options. They'll find a plan to fit your budget at EmbraceMN.com. Dragons lead 55-5 here at halftime. We'll take a commercial break. Hear a word from our fine sponsors. You're listening to boys basketball down at the Target Center on 106.5 FM, AM 1350.
No appointment? No problem. Injuries and feeling ill don't always happen during normal business hours. That's why Wellia Health has urgency services open 7 days a week. Urgency Services in Pine City offers the care you need when you need it. Hours are now 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. 7 days a week. No need to call or make an appointment. Just stop in. When tomorrow isn't soon enough and normal business hours just won't do, you can count on Wellia Health to be there for you. Live life well at Wellia Health.
Choose the right divorce attorney. Spear and Swanson will make sure the judge knows your side of the story. Let them help you with your divorce, custody, child support, harassment, or orders for protection. They also handle DWIs and other legal matters. The right divorce attorney does make a difference. That's why you need to choose Spear and Swanson, attorneys at law in Pine City. Call 320-620-7586.
Since 1967, Schmidt Construction, general contractor in Hinckley, has been where to go for all your building projects. Let Gerald Schmidt help you with designing, remodeling, or any new construction. Schmidt Construction specializes in residential home building, agricultural, industrial, and commercial buildings. With expert advice on all of your building projects and ideas, when you hire a contractor to take care of your building needs, you can't do better than Schmidt Construction, general contractor in Hinckley. 320-384-7901.
Are you interested in a technical degree that can quickly help you land your dream career? Or maybe you've always dreamed of going to a four-year college, but you'd like to start close to home. Either way, Pine Technical and Community College has you covered. PTCC offers more than 50 degrees in hot fields like healthcare information technology, advanced manufacturing, and business. PTCC is now accepting applications. Financial aid may be available online at pine.edu. Starting out or starting over, find your future at Pine Technical and Community College.
It's time to start pushing snow. Sorry, just the messenger. Thankfully, Minnesota Equipment in Isanti has affordable machines to do the heavy lifting. Any size property. Toro and Aaron's walk behind snow blowers. Oh, you got land, huh? How about John Deere lawn and garden tractors? Or a compact utility tractor? Minnesota Equipment has them in stock. Snow removal doesn't have to be backbreaking. Not if you get into Minnesota Equipment. Highway 65 in Isanti. Or visit minnesotaequipment.com.
Hey, I'm Chad Greenway. When I was playing, I loved chasing down running backs. But you shouldn't have to chase your bank around when you're buying a home. Franzen Bank and Trust Mortgage Consultants will be with you stride for stride, like a linebacker on a running back, from pre-approval to closing and beyond. Let Franzen Bank guide you through the mortgage process. Learn more at franzenbank.com/getThere. Franzen Bank and Trust. Real people, real results. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
A&W Restaurant Pine City is still making fresh root beer, that signature item since 1919. It's still made fresh and on-site with real cane sugar and a blend of secret ingredients. It doesn't get any better than this. Their world-renowned A&W root beer is a classic treat, and they can top it off with creamy vanilla soft serve to be known as the famous A&W root beer float. Now that's smooth, tasty, and refreshing. An American iconic A&W root beer float. It never tasted so good. A&W Restaurant Pine City. Come grab your root beer float today.
Most Americans do not have a proper will or estate plan in place. Many of you listening have been putting off that important task for a long time. Stop waiting and contact Spear and Swanson today. Spear and Swanson can help you put together a tight legal estate plan to make sure the assets you've been working so hard to obtain get passed on to your loved ones in the way that best fits you. Spear and Swanson, attorneys at law in Pine City. Call 320-629-7586. That's 320-629-7586.
The mushroom melt is back at A&W. How does this sound? Sautéed seasoned mushrooms and onions with melted Swiss cheese on your choice of a juicy burger or grilled chicken. Then add golden French fries and a medium soft drink. It's the mushroom melt and fries combo at A&W. Now, top it off with a classic A&W root beer float featuring vanilla soft serve and made fresh root beer, all in a frosty mug. Or how about the A&W Root Beer Freeze? Signature combos and delicious treats always at your local A&W restaurant in Pine City.
No appointment? No problem. Injuries and feeling ill don't always happen during normal business hours. That's why Wellia Health has urgency services open 7 days a week. Urgency Services in Pine City offers the care you need when you need it. Hours are now 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. 7 days a week. No need to call or make an appointment. Just stop in. When tomorrow isn't soon enough and normal business hours just won't do, you can count on Wellia Health to be there for you. Live life well at Wellia Health.
Choose the right divorce attorney. Spear and Swanson will make sure the judge knows your side of the story. Let them help you with your divorce, custody, child support, harassment, or orders for protection. They also handle DWIs and other legal matters. The right divorce attorney does make a difference. That's why you need to choose Spear and Swanson, attorneys at law in Pine City. Call 320-620-7586.
Since 1967, Schmidt Construction, general contractor in Hinckley, has been where to go for all your building projects. Let Gerald Schmidt help you with designing, remodeling, or any new construction. Schmidt Construction specializes in residential home building, agricultural, industrial, and commercial buildings. With expert advice on all of your building projects and ideas, when you hire a contractor to take care of your building needs, you can't do better than Schmidt Construction, general contractor in Hinckley. 320-384-7901.
Are you interested in a technical degree that can quickly help you land your dream career? Or maybe you've always dreamed of going to a four-year college, but you'd like to start close to home. Either way, Pine Technical and Community College has you covered. PTCC offers more than 50 degrees in hot fields like healthcare information technology, advanced manufacturing, and business. PTCC is now accepting applications. Financial aid may be available online at pine.edu. Starting out or starting over, find your future at Pine Technical and Community College.
Back here on 106.5 FM, AM 1350. The Pine City Dragons lead here at halftime over the Maple Lake Irish, 55-5. And taking a look at the stat leaders here on the Irish side, you've got two players with 2 points. That is Jacob Weezy and Brandon Lundeen, and then one for Carter Scanlon. Leading the team in rebounds is Scanlon with 4 and 2 steals for Leighton Johnson. They had 10 team fouls there in that first half. On the other side for the Pine City Dragons, leading the way was Lamont Sidney, 13 points and 6 rebounds. He was not the leading rebounder, though. He also had 2 steals. Then it was, Mason Charles and Luke Wilson with 9, 7 for Isaiah Haas and Ashton Seals, 6 for Riley Cummings, and 2 for Nick Plajek. Leading the way rebound-wise was Ashton Seals with 8 of them. Yeah, 8 of them for Ashton Seals. And steals-wise, leading the way was Mason Charles with 4 of them. They had 12 total steals there in that first half and 6 team fouls. So the Dragons up in this one plenty. They'll probably see a lot of the JV guys come in here in the second half and take the place of the starters. Not sure when the clock will run here in the second half, not until we reach that 8-minute mark, though, so that's when the clock will start to run, and we will have running time here from that 8-minute mark on, and we'll get to see a lot of the JV players here in this second half. It just depends on when. In other games around the local listening area, over on 95.5 FM, KBK, the Mora Mustangs are taking care of business at home over Foley, 40-10 there, and as we go to our YouTube, you can go to our website at WCMPradio.com. You can go to the sports and go to the broadcast schedule, and you can find the game you want to watch there. Over on 100.9 FM, WCMP, the Bram Girls are up over Long Prairie Grey Eagle in the second half, 58-20. So our local team's doing pretty well here this evening. Here at the Target Center, the Dragons lead at half, 55-5, with about a minute left to go in the at the halftime period. The Dragons again with that 55-5 lead. Not much that they have to do differently or change. And again, I think we'll see them take the foot off the gas a little bit here in the second half. It won't be drastic, but they will. It will be the starting 5 out there, and we will see the JV players at some point in time. It just is a matter of when. 18 minutes, we'll be back up on that Embrace Orthodontics scoreboard. Embrace Orthodontics custom braces or Invisalign with 3 locations in Pine City, Lindstrom, and Cambridge. EmbraceMN.com. Don't forget, after the game is over, stay tuned for our post-game interview with head coach Kyle Allen and our A&W Player of the Game. Thanks so much to A&W for sponsoring our Player of the Game. We'll be back here to the action as the Irish break their huddle. They'll get back out onto the court. Be a little bit of difference than their starting five, and Brandon Lundeen will be in instead of Nick Lind. Of course, Nick Lind has those 3 fouls that he'll have to work with here through the second half, so we'll see how he does. Lamont Sidney will check it in, and he'll give it off to Wilson, and he'll pull up from the NBA 3, and almost good, but it rattles out. Riley Cummings is going to pull down the rebound. He'll give it back to Wilson on the far side to Sidney. Sidney loses his dribble, but he keeps it. Keeps it going, and then he'll give it off to Charles on the far side. Gets a screen. Charles drives inside. He lost his ball, and it will go out of bounds. Last touch by the Dragons. Ball will go back to the Irish. That's a tough one there for Mason Charles as he lost it. And now the Irish will bring it up the court. Weimer, will bring it up the court here for the Irish, and we'll get a bump by the Dragons. It'll be Riley Cummings with his first foul. Team's first in the second half. 17:34 to go in half number 2. Inbound here to Weimer. Weimer will start in the back court, and now work it to the front court. Trying to get by Luke Wilson. He pauses, gives it off now to Lundeen. Lundeen tries to drive inside. His shot is up, no good, but he lost the ball. It'll go out of bounds. Last touch by the Irish, so by the Dragons, and Maple Lake will hold on to it. Scanlon will look to inbound. He'll inbound it here to Weimer, and Weimer will pass it off. Inside here to Lind, it looks like, and Lind is back in the game. The ball goes out of bounds. Last touch by Dragon once again, so Maple Lake will hold on to it. Scanlon will look to inbound. Everyone's guarded pretty well. He gets it through a couple of hands. Lundeen will take it to the basket, puts it up, and in for 2. 55-7. And here come the Dragons. Wilson. Pass off far to the near side to Isaiah Haas. Now far side to Charles. Charles back to Wilson, just inside the NBA 3, and he's unfortunately struggled here tonight from that range, and that was rebounded by Weimer. Now Lind trying to work it inside. He's guarded well and loses the ball, but Weimer's going to come up with it. Goes inside to Scanlon. Oh, I don't know. That one already hit the rim, and it was coming back down. I'm going to respectfully disagree. 55-9 now is the score. The scoreboard just a little bit behind. That shot is up and no good. Rebounded here by Lamont Sidney. And then we get a timeout here by the Dragons. Their first. They'll be left with 4. 55-9 is the score. Dragons will use their first timeout here of the game. Head coach Kyle Allen just going to kind of go over a couple of things and try and get them to get things going their way once again right now. Kind of the momentum is really switched here in this second half, and right now favors the Maple Lake Irish. And it's Luke Wilson who has struggled right now from 3. He can't get that NBA 3 going, and I'm certain he wants to. But again, one of the bigger things that Kyle Allen talked about is he wants his guys to make sure that they're taking those high school 3s instead of the NBA 3s, because he knows that they're tempted to, and they have been. They've made a couple, but they're going to have to probably work back to try and go back to the high school 3s, because they have not been able to hit an NBA 3 as of late. Timeout still on, and the Irish will use all of it. There's the first buzzer. That's the 15-second buzzer, and that might have been actually the final buzzer. So here come the Irish back out onto the court. The Dragons will get to inbound. Wilson. He'll inbound it here to Haas. Back to Wilson on the far side. Now to Haas again. Haas wanted to pass Cummings. Instead, he pulls it down. He loses his dribble. Picks up the ball. Gives off to Wilson here. On the near side, Wilson trying to get around Weimer. He gets a screen, but then he'll go all the way across court to Haas. Now to Lamont Sidney. Lamont Sidney in the corner, and I don't know who that pass was to, but it was tipped and stolen away by Lundeen, and now it's stolen right back by Lamont Sidney, and he was definitely fouled, and they're going to get that. There's the call. Scanlon going to be the guilty Irish player, his second and the team's first here in the second half. So the Dragons will get to inbound it right at the Timberwolves logo, right at center court. Wilson will get the inbound now to Mason Charles, back to Wilson, now to Haas. Haas will go all the way across court to Lamont Sidney for three. That rolls off. Riley Cummings, though, will pull in the rebound and put it back in for two. Checking into the game is Ben Ogram, number 5 for the Irish. Meanwhile, the Irish have it. It's Scanlon who has it poked out, but Ogram brings it back in. Ogram will shoot it. It's blocked by Lamont Sidney, and taking it the other way is Wilson. And he takes it to the basket, puts it up and in for two. Nice block there by Lamont Sidney. It's 59-9, excuse me. Scanlon has it, and he'll jack up a three. That's well off the mark. And getting the rebound is Isaiah Haas. Haas nearly loses it. He'll give it off down to Lamont Sidney here on the near side. Sidney going to drive inside, nearly loses his dribble, and he gives it back out to Haas. Haas, he'll bring it in. That was just in front of him, and double dribble called on the Dragons. I think that was a little close. 15:07 to go here in the second half. 59-9 is the Dragon lead, and Johnston will get the inbound from Weezy. Johnson will pass off on the far side to Scanlon. Scanlon will work back to the top of the key. Now switch, goes back to the far side, gives it off to Ogram. Ogram under drive inside. Ooh, I think that's too quick of a whistle on that one. I'll let him play a little. It's going to go against Luke Wilson, his third, team's second here in the second half. 14:55 to go in the game. Dragons lead 59-9. That shot is up, no good. Scanlon with the rebound puts it back up and in for two. 59-11. Luke Wilson will give it off to Haas. Haas takes it to the top of the key. Haas gives it off to Cummings. Cummings goes inside to Charles. Now to Lamont Sidney near side for three. That's short. Mason Charles easily pulls in that rebound. Gets it to fall. In for two. 61-11, the Dragons lead. Under 14.5 to go. Johnston with it here on the near side, gives it to Weezy. Weezy going to drive inside on Cummings. He gets around him. Shot is up and no good. Off the back of Sidney, and bringing it in is Ogram. Ball is out of bounds, but last touch by the Dragons. So the Irish will hold on to it. Johnston will inbound here to Scanlon. Back to Johnston, and it's poked out by Wilson. Irish will inbound it again. It's it to Scanlon once again. Scanlon, top of the key. Far side to Weimer for three. That's no good, and Isaiah Haas will bring it in. Quickly up the court to Luke Wilson. Wilson gets around the defense, gives it off to Charles. Far side for three. That's through! Mason Charles for three makes it 64-11. Under 14 to go now. Johnston gives it to Weimer here in the near side corner, and Mason Charles nearly steals it away, but it goes out of bounds. Last touch by Charles, and it will go back to the Irish. Johnston will inbound here to Weimer. Weimer will dribble it to the top of the key. He'll give it back to Johnston. Johnston all the way across court here to Weimer. Back to Johnston. Johnston for the NBA three, just off the mark, and it's rebounded there by Riley Cummings. Quickly up the court, Luke Wilson loses his dribble, but he gets it right back, and he'll step up from three, and it's no good. Cummings with the putback on the rebound. He got it to fall, plus the and one. 66-11. That's going to go against Scanlon, his third, team's second. Cummings will shoot the and one. Weimer and Johnson will check out, and for them is Lind and Palman. And three. So Cummings makes it a three-point play to make it 67-11 with 13:15 to go. Scanlon gives it off now to Lind. Lind drives inside, trying to get inside the paint. He turns around, puts up a shot off the front of the rim. No good. He gets his own rebound. Shot is up and no good again, and Cummings will bring it down for the Dragons. Gives it off to Sidney. Sidney up the court. Gives it off to Isaiah Haas near side. Gives it inside to Cummings. Cummings gives it off far side to Mason Charles for three. And Charles drains it to make it 72-11. 12:45 to go. Lind going to try and drive inside on Haas. Haas does a good job of giving defense. Poked out by Haas, and I think they're going to get Haas for the foul there for falling on top of Lind. It is going to be on Haas. His first, team's third here in the second half. 72-11, 12:37 to go in this second half. On that Embrace Orthodontics scoreboard, Dr. Severs is committed to providing world-class orthodontic care in a friendly and comfortable atmosphere. Start today at embracemn.com. Lynn gets the inbound from Scanlon. He'll give it back to Scanlon. Scanlon gets a screen from Lynn and is on the far side. Gives off to Ogram. Ogram. And that ball's stolen away by Isaiah Haas, his second, and now gives off to Charles up the court. Gives it off to Wilson on the far side. Wilson steps back. He'll give it all the way across court to Lamont. Sidney wide open for three. That's going to come up well short. And Lynn is going to grab the rebound there for the Maple Lake Irish. Lynn will take it up the court for Maple Lake. Now driving in on the near side. He bumps. And that might be on Haas. It will be his second. Team's fourth. Weimer, Johnston, and also into the game for the first time here this evening is number 12, Vincent Wolf. So Wolf in for the first time here this evening for Maple Lake. Weimer will inbound to Scanlon. Scanlon wanted three, but he gives it off to Weimer. And we also have a new one in here for the Dragons. I believe it's Matthew Blake wearing that number 10. This is picked up by the Dragons on a steal. A three from Osmus is no good, but Aiden Ostenson gets the rebound. He'll give it off now to Seals for three. That's off the mark as well. Nick Plajic flies in for the rebound. For three for Ostenson. That's no good, and rebounded by Scanlon. And Scanlon has that stolen away by Charlie Osmus. Matthew Blake will take it up the court. And shot is up, and good! Plus the and one for the Dragons. It's Ashton Seals who gets the shot to fall, plus an and one. And that foul is going to go against Vincent Wolf, his first, team's third. Ashton Seals at the line for the possible three-point play. 72-11 is the Dragon lead. And it's good. Three-point play there for Ashton Seals to make it 73-11 with 11:20 to go. Lind up the court quickly. He gets around Nick Plajic. Shot is up and good. Lind explosive that time to make it 73-13. Ostenson will take it up the court. That's A.J. Ostenson. He takes it to the near side. Now back to the top of the key. Gives it off. Bounce past Charlie Osmus. Osmus, it's a screen from Blake. He steps inside the NBA three. Tries to go inside to Plajic. Plajic brings it in. And we're going to get the ball tied up, and the ball will go back to the Maple Lake Irish. Possession arrow favors the Irish, and Maple Lake will get it back. 73-13, just under 11 minutes to go here in the second half. This inbound goes to Johnston from Scanlon, and Johnston will bring it up the court. Now into the front court. Johnston gives it off to Lind. Lind has had a good second half, and he'll drive inside. Shot is up, no good. Gets his own rebound, and he'll put up a shot, and that falls through. 73-15 now, the Dragons lead. Osmus thinking about three, gets a screen from Blake, gives it off now on the near side to Ostenson. Ostenson goes around the perimeter, gives it off to Osmus. Osmus dribbles to the top of the key. He gives it off now to Ostenson. Ostenson gets out of the far side, gives it off on the, that was the near side. Now far side to Ostenson, and Ostenson is going to be fouled. It's going to be on Weimer, his second and the team's fourth. 73-15, 10-10 to go here in the second half. Scanlon and Lind will check in. Weezy checks back in as well as Lundeen. Osmus will get the inbound. Seals back to Osmus now. Osmus all the way across court to Ostenson. Back to Osmus, top of the key. Gives it to Seals. Seals wants to go inside to Plajic, but back outside now to Ostenson on the far side. Osmus thought about three, gives it off to the near side corner to Seals. Now to Ostenson again on the far side to Charlie Osmus for three. No good. And the rebound there by Vincent Wolf for the Irish. It's Johnston to Weimer. Weimer's going to get that inside edge. I don't know about that. I think that was ball. But going to get a foul here on Pine City, their team's 5th, and on Austinson, his first. And at the line to shoot 2 is going to be Vincent Wolf. I don't think we'll see the Dragons starters the rest of the way here this evening. Probably more or less the... Oh, no, he's not going to shoot 2. So he didn't call that a shooting foul. It's on the court. Johnston will look to inbound here to Weimer. He gives it off to Weezy for 2, and that's no good. That ball is knocked out of bounds by the Dragons. So Maple Lake will get to inbound again. 73-15 they lead. 9:32 to go here in this second half. Of course, remind you to stay tuned after the game for our post-game interview. The Mora Mustangs get the victory over Foley, by the way, 69-24. That is a 3 from Lundeen. This ball is going to stay with the Drake. Maybe? No, it's Maple Lake Irish ball. I did not see what happened. So the Dragons stepped over the line on that inbound. Thanks so much to the camera woman for letting me know what happened. Ashton Seals will pick up his second foul, 5th for the Dragons, and Weezy now at the line to shoot 2. Weezy gets it to fall, make it 73-19. And Weezy cannot get the second one to fall, and Osmus will have it. And he'll give it off now to Seals. Seals up the court, gives it off to Osmus. Osmus goes inside to Plajic. Plajic back out to Seals. Seals fakes it one way, drives in, and tries to give it off to Plajic, but it's stolen away by Johnston. Johnston will take it up the court here for the Maple Lake Irish. He gives it off to Weezy for 3. That's no good. And coming in to get the rebound that time is Aiden Austinson. Austinson gives it off. Far side to Seals. Seals cross court near side to Austinson. Back to Osmus. Back to Austinson. All the way across court here to Seals. Seals tries to go inside. Instead gives it to Osmus. Now back outside to Seals. To Osmus for 3. That's just off the mark. Matthew Blake getting the rebound. He gives it off to Nick Plajic, and that shot is no good, but Blake will put it back up and in for 2. 2 rebounds there for Blake, and he'll put it back up and in for 2 to make it 75-19. Under 8.5 to go here on that Embrace Orthodontics scoreboard. The Dragons lead at 75-19. The other way come the Irish. That shot is up, no good. It's Austinson who brings it down, and he'll bring it up the court. Austinson with some speed. He stops, gives it off to Osmus. Osmus going to drive inside. Gives it off. Tried to give it off to Blake, but it's knocked out of bounds. Last touched by the Irish. Lind and Scanlon will check back in for the Dragons. Or for the Irish, rather. Excuse me. This inbound is tipped and stolen away by Scanlon. And here comes Scanlon. Getting through the defense. Osmus got away with a foul there. That's the whistle. Is going to be late. I think that Scanlon definitely got fouled before he even went up for the shot. Oh, going to get Plajic for it. Team's at 6th, his first. And, yeah, I don't disagree with them letting that one go. It's not about what I like. Scanlon no good on that one, but they count the basket anyways. It's 21-75. That ball is going to be out of bounds off the rebound, and it will stay with the Irish. And, again, that clock is continuing to roll with the Dragons leading 75-21. 7 minutes and counting. A nice over-the-shoulder catch there by Weimer. Gives out to Scanlon. Scanlon near side. He's going to drive inside. Tries to put up a shot. They're going to be calling a travel on Scanlon. 75-21 is the Dragon lead. Again, the clock will roll with the Dragons having the massive lead and under 8 minutes to go. Austinson has it on that far side. He'll just try and dribble some clock out. He gets a screen from Plajic, and now he bounce passes it here to Seals. He'll go back to Austinson. Austinson will pull up from 3. That is well short. Plajic will keep it alive, but threw it a little too far out in front of anybody. And it will go out of bounds, and it will be Irish ball. Irish will inbound. It's Lind who will get it to Johnston. Johnston wanted to go to Scanlon, but instead he goes there to Pauman, and Pauman shot no good. Rebounded here by Nick Pelagic. Back the other way for the Dragons comes Osmus, now to Seals. Seals pauses, gives it off to Austinson, top of the key, and he'll give it back to Osmus. Osmus drives inside, he fell. Now gives it off to Pelagic, and it's stolen away here by Scanlon. Scanlon quickly up the court, and stolen away here by Osmus. We're going to get a foul here on Ethan Pauman. His first, team's at 6th. With under 5.5 to go on that Embrace Orthodontics scoreboard. Austinson has it on the far side with a 75-21 lead. And he gives it off to Charlie Osmus for 3. That's just going to miss and out of bounds, and the ball will go back to the Irish. Embrace Orthodontics, your customized smile journey starts with a free consultation. The team at Embrace Orthodontics wants to make your journey as seamless and convenient as possible with custom braces or Invisalign. Find out more at EmbraceMN.com. 75-21, the clock rolls under 5 minutes to go here in the game. And Lind has it for the Irish. He takes it up and nearly had it stolen away by Blake. He'll put up a shot. It's no good. And that ball's going to go out of bounds off of a Irish. We've got Eli Fromm and Merrick Overtoom into the game. I believe it's also number 3, Willert, into the game. Briar Willert for the Dragons.
There you go, Ethan.
Overtoom to Willert for 3, and he gets it to fall. Willert for 3 to make it 78-21. And now 3 the other way from Scanlon is no good. Willert again with the rebound. Willert takes it up the court on the far side. Stops and goes now. Looks to goes inside to Overtoom. Back outside here to number 0. That is Jace Peterson. Peterson back and forth passing between Fromm and him. He'll give it far side to Willert. Now inside to Overtoom. Overtoom nearly has it stolen away. He does have it stolen away, this time by Pauman. Pauman will try an awkward shot. It's somehow rebounded by Lind and put back it up and in for 2. I don't know how that happened, but hey, either way, he got it to fall. 23-78. Willert with it to Eli Fromm. Now to Peterson. To Overtoom. Overtoom nearly loses it. Nearly loses again. It goes between his legs. Stolen away by Weimer. And he'll take it up the court. 3 minutes to go here. Weimer spins around the defender. Oh, double dribble. Definitely got him for a double dribble that time. And ball's going to go back to Pine City. And Ogrum will check back in. Oh, they got a foul on someone there for Maple Lake. 2:40 to go here in the game. Dragons lead 78-23, and Peterson will give it off here to Overtoom. Back to Peterson. Peterson had his three-point shot blocked. And now they're going to get a foul on Peterson. His first. And the team's sixth, excuse me. That shot is short and taken by Merrick Overtoom on the rebound. Dragons will try and get it up the court. Fromm struggled. He finally gets it to Peterson. Now all the way across court to Briar Willert for 3. It's short. Rebounded there by Scanlon. Under 2 minutes to go, and Scanlon works it up the court. Blake guards him well, and now we'll get a timeout here by the Maple Lake Irish. That should stop the clock. There we go. It finally stops. 1:41 to go. Timeout called here by Maple Lake with 1:41 to go. 78-23 is the score. And not a long timeout, just I think to get some subs in. So interesting. And the shot is up, no good by and Weezy brings it in, puts it down for 2 on the rebound. 78-25 is the score and the lead for Pine City. Eli Fromm gives it off to Jace Peterson, back to Fromm. Fromm, an NBA 3, going to come up short and goes out of bounds. It will be Maple Lake ball. That clock continues to roll under a minute and a half, down to 1:10 now as Lind takes up the court for the Irish. Lind trying to get around the defense. Lind tries to go for a shot, but he's double teamed. Gives it back outside to Johnson. He nearly lost it. Willert, they're guarding Weezy for 3, and it's no good. And Willert going to come up with the rebound here for Pine City. Gives it to Eli Fromm, who puts it up and in for 2. Fromm for 2 to make it 80-25. Under a minute to go, 45 seconds. It's Lind who gives it off. Near side corner for Scanlon. Oh, wow, Scanlon right through. 80-28 is the score after the 3 from Scanlon, but here come the Dragons. Eli Fromm, he'll give it off to Willert, and they'll probably just try and dribble out the rest of the clock, although Merrick Overton had it stolen away here by Weezy, and Weezy, no good! And Blake will get the rebound. That was an open shot for Weezy that unfortunately just had a little too much on it. And that is unfortunate. Now the Dragons have it back, and they'll probably just look to pass this ball around and dribble out the rest of the clock, even though it's stolen away here by Weezy. Weezy, another steal, and that ball is going to be knocked out of bounds by the Dragons, and that should do it. So the final here in this one between the Dragons and Maple Lake is going to be 80-28. The Dragons get the victory here over the Maple Lake Irish. We'll take a commercial break. We'll come back. We'll hear a word from our A&W player of the game and our head coach, Kyle Allen. You're listening to Boys Basketball on WCMP.
It's time to start pushing snow. Sorry, just the messenger. Thankfully, Minnesota Equipment in Isanti has affordable machines to do the heavy lifting. Any size property. Toro and Aaron's walk behind snow blowers. Oh, you got land, huh? How about John Deere lawn and garden tractors? Or a compact utility tractor? Minnesota Equipment has them in stock. Snow removal doesn't have to be backbreaking. Not if you get into Minnesota Equipment, Highway 65 in Isanti, or visit minnesotaequipment.com.
Hey, I'm Chad Greenway. When I was playing, I loved chasing down running backs. But you shouldn't have to chase your bank around when you're buying a home. Franzen Bank and Trust Mortgage Consultants will be with you stride for stride, like a linebacker on a running back, from pre-approval to closing and beyond. Let Franzen Bank guide you through the mortgage process. Learn more at franzenbank.com/getthere. Franzen Bank and Trust. Real people, real results. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
A&W Restaurant Pine City is still making fresh root beer, that signature item since 1919. It's still made fresh and on-site with real cane sugar and a blend of secret ingredients. It doesn't get any better than this. Their world-renowned A&W root beer is a classic treat, and they can top it off with creamy vanilla soft serve to be known as the famous A&W root beer float. Now that's smooth, tasty, and refreshing. An American iconic A&W root beer float. It never tasted so good. A&W Restaurant Pine City. Come grab your root beer float today.
Most Americans do not have a proper will or estate plan in place. Many of you listening have been putting off that important task for a long time. Stop waiting and contact Spear & Swanson today. Spear & Swanson can help you put together a tight legal estate plan to make sure the assets you've been working so hard to obtain get passed on to your loved ones in the way that best fits you. Spear & Swanson, attorneys at law in Pine City. Call 320-629-7586. That's 320-629-7586.
The mushroom melt is back at A&W. How does this sound? Sautéed seasoned mushrooms and onions with melted Swiss cheese on your choice of a juicy burger or grilled chicken. Then add golden French fries and a medium soft drink. It's the mushroom melt and fries combo at A&W. Now, top it off with a classic A&W root beer float featuring vanilla soft serve and made fresh root beer, all in a frosty mug. Or how about the A&W root beer freeze? Signature combos and delicious treats always at your local A&W restaurant in Pine City.
No appointment? No problem. Injuries and feeling ill don't always happen during normal business hours. That's why Wellia Health has urgency services open 7 days a week. Urgency Services in Pine City offers the care you need when you need it. Hours are now 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. 7 days a week. No need to call or make an appointment. Just stop in. When tomorrow isn't soon enough and normal business hours just won't do, you can count on Wellia Health to be there for you. Live life well at Wellia Health.
Choose the right divorce attorney. Spear and Swanson will make sure the judge knows your side of the story. Let them help you with your divorce, custody, child support, harassment, or orders for protection. They also handle DWIs and other legal matters. The right divorce attorney does make a difference. That's why you need to choose Spear and Swanson, attorneys at law in Pine City. Call 320-620-7586.
Back here on WCMP, we are now joined by our A&W player of the game, Eli Fromm. Eli, how did it feel to get out here on the court of the Timberwolves?
Felt pretty good. It was fun to play with my teammates.
Absolutely, and getting the victory helps as well. You got in here in the second half. How did it feel to get in here in some value varsity minutes?
Felt pretty good. I don't know. I just wanted to play with my friends.
Absolutely, and you were able to get some points here on this Timberwolves court. That has to be pretty cool.
Yeah, it was. It was kind of fun to score.
And what do you look at going forward that you guys need to do to continue to win?
I think it's just working hard, going to morning workouts, and grinding every day.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for joining us, and congratulations on being our A&W player of the game.
Yeah, thank you.
And that, again, was Eli Fromm, our A&W player of the game. He was able to work in here and get some points on the board for the Pine City Dragons, who win 80-28 on that Embrace Orthodontic scoreboard. They'll do all the insurance heavy lifting for you, and if you don't have insurance, ask about financing options. They'll find a plan to fit your budget. EmbraceMN.com. We're now joined by head coach Kyle Allen. Coach, a pretty impressive win here for your team, and they got to do it on the Timberwolves home court.
Yeah, it's one of those things, it's a tradition that we did for a long time, and it was fun to bring it back, so we're real grateful that Maple Lake was willing to play us here. We gave up the home game to come do this, so it was a lot of fun. It's just one of those experiences that stay with you, one of those experiences that we want to be able to give the kids to be able to be on this floor, and it's something they'll talk about forever. So hopefully we'll be able to do it again. Our old rotation was once every 2 years, so we'll see if we can get back here again.
Absolutely, and you talked about coming into this one that you wanted to see your guys probably stick to more of that high school three, but we've seen them plenty here take it from outside. What are your feelings on that?
Yeah, it's like they pretend like they don't know that it's the NBA line, but in all honesty, they all play a lot of video games. They know which one's the NBA line, but it's just one of those things you can't fight. You want to have fun, you want to enjoy it. We want to be conscientious of it, but part of it is if we ever do earn the chance to get to play on this floor, we don't want the first time to be on this floor to be at the state tournament. So we want to be able to have that experience in our back pocket at some point in time that we've done it before. So definitely part of the reasoning why we come down here.
Absolutely, and you led 55-5 at halftime. What was one of the things that you said to this team at half to make sure that, hey, we don't let up too much here in the second half?
Well, and we just want to make sure we're executing. We're grading ourselves based on how we do. We don't, when we get done with a game, we go through all the stats and we go through all the measurements and everything that we do. We don't go through and see what the other team did. We want to know what we did. We want to know, did we execute? Did we go through and execute the statistics that we want to, the plays, the sets, so on and so forth. So for us, it's we want to gauge ourselves against ourselves. Regardless of the score, regardless of the team we're playing, we want to know, did we execute us?
Absolutely, and you were able to get in some of the younger guys, the JV players in here. How was that for you as a coach to be able to see those guys come in and get varsity minutes on this court?
It's a lot of fun, and you talk about like Eli Fromm. He's the third brother, the fourth child of the Fromms that has been in our program, and it's fun. They got siblings here, his parents are here. They've done this before. He's watched his older brothers play on this floor. It's just one of those things where part of the tradition, part of the program that we get to do. So we always have an eye on today and an eye on tomorrow, and so we're always making sure that we are keeping the program where it needs to be able to continue hopeful successes on the court.
Absolutely, and then after this, you get a long stretch on the road against some huge conference opponents. Talk about this stretch of road games here coming up for you guys.
Yeah, we've really talked about this stretch and being ready for it. And again, why are we playing 3A schools? Why are we going on playing the big schools that we are? And it's hopefully to get ready for this stretch. We want to be ready for our conference opponents. We want to be ready for conference play, and we hope that those games and those experiences and those successes and non-successes lead to us being able to be more successful on the court as the season goes on.
Absolutely. Well, Coach, congratulations on the win here tonight, and good luck moving forward.
Appreciate it. Thank you for having us. Thank you for your coverage. Appreciate you coming down to Target Center, guys.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. That, again, was head coach Kyle Allen. We will return back with more of a game recap here when we come back after this short commercial break. You, of course, are listening to WCMP Sports on WCMPradio.com, or maybe you're listening on the radio at 106.5 FM, AM 1350 WCMP.
Since 1967, Schmidt Construction, general contractor in Hinckley, has been where to go for all your building projects. Let Gerald Schmidt help you with designing, remodeling, or any new construction. Schmidt Construction specializes in residential home building, agricultural, industrial, and commercial buildings. With expert advice on all of your building projects and ideas. When you hire a contractor to take care of your building needs, you can't do better than Schmidt Construction, general contractor in Hinckley. 320-384-7901.
Are you interested in a technical degree that can quickly help you land your dream career? Or maybe you've always dreamed of going to a four-year college, but you'd like to start close to home. Either way, Pine Technical and Community College has you covered. PTC.
Back here on WCMP, just a final recap here. The Pine City Dragons get the victory over the Maple Lake Irish 80-28. Leading the way for them here this evening was Mason Charles. He came out on top with 17 points. Then it was Lamont Sidney with 13. Luke Wilson scored 11, 10 for Ashton Seals, then 7 there for Isaiah Haas, and a bunch of 2s out there, 2 for Nick Plajek, Austinson, Blake and a 3 from Briar Willard here in this game. So the Dragons, they move up above 500 this season for the first time to 7-6. And again, they will start that big road stretch of road games here next week, and all against conference opponents. I believe it stretches 2.5 weeks, that road stretch does. And again, it's all conference opponents. They will play Rush. They will play East Central. Huge games coming up here for the Pine City Dragons. I want to thank all of you who tuned in here tonight to this broadcast on 106.5 FM, AM 1350. They're shutting down the lights, so I got to hurry up and get on out of here. But thanks so much for tuning in. Remember, be kind to everyone. You never know what someone is going through, and your kindness could really make their day. For WCMP, I'm Ethan Game Day Gilman. Have a great rest of your night and a fantastic weekend.